everyone, this is Joseph Propati, and today this is going to be my second video in the series for my game Zombie Apocalypse, the dice game. So in my previous videos I covered some info about the game, the intro, the setup, and in this video I'm going to go through the rules and then the turn sequence and then play turns as I cover the rules. So I think that'll probably be the easiest way to explain the rules if I go over how the rules work just by going through each turn sequence. So first what I want to do is show you, so this is the setup of the game. This is where you're ready to play. I've got my 4 soldiers, my 4 characters that are set up. They've got all their stats maxed out for health and their bite wounds. Here's my custom dice. I've dealt out my 5 barricades, my 3 different piles for raiders, zombies, and then radiation zombies. And then here we have the first location that I'll be starting at. Remember, you always start the game in your far upper left site location, and you're going to be working your way to get to this SATCOM 1 location once you find the 5 electronic components. Over here you have your pile of location items, and then here's all of our components, dice. So we're ready to go. So let's do this first. Let's talk about the turn sequence. Now each turn is broken up into phases and rounds. So each phase has a number of things it can do. We can classify those as rounds or actions. So it's kind of turn phases, which there are 7 phases per turn, and then within each of those phases there's actions, rounds, or things that will happen within each phase. So I think we'll structure it turn, phases, and then actions that you can perform in those phases. So the 7 phases for a turn are, first is map movement, which deals with this map grid. So here's where you'll be doing your map movement. And then we have our phase 2, zombie and raiders. They do their attacks because you're going to place them and attack. That's phase 2. Phase 3 is then soldier actions, responding to those either zombies or raiders. Phase 4 is the soldier attacks. So you have your actions on phase 3 that they can do, and then phase 4 is when they actually attack. That's when you get to start dealing with the dice that you've placed. So phase 5 is when you get to do the soldier trained actions, right? And then those are like 3 specific. Zombie and raider movement is phase 6. And then you have phase 7, which is cleanup. And so what I'll do is I'll go into more detail with each one of those phases. But those are the 7 phases. We have map movement, zombie and raider attacks, soldier actions, soldier attacks, soldier trained actions, and then zombie and raider movement, and then finally cleanup. So 7 phases. So let's, in this next section of the video, let's go into each phase and the things you can do within each phase. Okay, so in this next section of the video, we're going to cover the details within each phase of the turn. So phase 1, like I said, is map movement. And this, again, this is for my game Zombie Apocalypse, the dice game. This is a upgraded version of the game. Again, it's a PMP that you can find on Board Game Geek. So we have map movement. Now, everything that deals with the map is in this map grid, this 4x4 grid. During map movement, you will either have the very first turn of the game, or you will have continuation turns as you've gone on. First turn will be here on this upper left corner. As you move from later turns, you either move horizontally or vertically. Okay, no diagonal movement, so you cannot shoot down straight to here. That's movement from map location to map location. And then once you are in a map location, since we start in this one, we will flip it over. All right, put your meeple guy right here in the image. And then you take a look at what locations you have. So let's bring this up so you can get a better look. So here we have the rail yard. Now it is a radiation site. See, we have that radiation symbol. And also this symbol over here, this rations, it means somewhere in the location, within this map location, you'll find a spot where you can get rations to give to your soldiers. So this is a rail yard. This is a little bit of description of it. It's more flavor. Then we have the radiation symbol, which means we are immediately going to adjust our radiation level, 1 to the right. Now again, if it gets to the skull, game's over. Everybody has been too exposed by radiation. So we want to look at this right here. This first location, this is where you put your first blue cube, and you're going to be making this path through the rail yard to continue out, searching for these location items. And this is where you hopefully will find one of the components for the electronic control boards that you need, 5 of those. But with first one, we have a zombie location. Now it's a green and yellow number, which means there are 3 radiation zombies that we're going to be dealing with. All right? So we'll go ahead and put that back and put our cube on the first one. Now, since this is the first turn, that's our first location to move. Now, let's say I had already been moving a number of locations and I backtrack to another location that already had a location I'd been through. Well, you don't just walk through it. There is a possibility you might have either random zombies or random raiders. So when you move on to that, there'll be a D12 roll, and depending on what you roll, you might have an encounter. So you don't just get to freely move through previous locations. You will have to roll to see if there's any type of encounter. But we're starting this first one. So we've done our map. That's our movement, our first location. Now we know that we have 3 raider zombies. So we go here and we draw our 3 radiation zombies. Let's get that right, radiation zombies. Right? So we draw for this map movement and place. Now, placement for these 3 will go like this. Take the first one. We take a D12 and a D4, roll them, and we have D4 means if I get a 1, it's close combat, 2 and 3 is medium range, and 4 is long range. So I have a 4, so it's going to be in these long range locations. Then I have a 5, so that means it is right here. That's where that first zombie is. Then we do another one. Oh, another 5. And this one is at 1. So now this guy is in the close combat range. And then our next guy is a 2. And another 1, which means it's right here. So we placed our first 3 zombies, our radiation zombies, right? Now, based on what you'd be in your location areas, so you have a map location, that's the main location, which is the rail yard. Then you have location areas, there'll be 4 of these in here. The first one is what we found, contact with the radiation zombies. And anytime you're in a radiation zone, you're going to have radiation zombies. It's just natural. So the problem is, whenever you have zombies that are in close combat, you're going to have radiation effect. So that's our first phase. Go to our map area, find out what we are going to deal with, and then place zombies or raiders if they are in that map area location. Let's go to phase 2, but just so I can make sure I covered that, I'm gonna break this video into those sections. So again, phase 1 is map location, deals all here, map movement, right? Moving through map location. We settle on a map location, and then we flip it over, we find out what our area locations are. If there are zombies, we draw the number that it says. If there's raiders, again, we draw the number. If they're radiation, yellow and green, we'll draw those. And then once you draw them, you'll place them on our map board. And that placement again is you roll a D4 for the range. 1 is close, 2 and 3 are medium, and then 4 is long. Then the D12 tells you exactly where to place location-wise, physical location, right? Same thing happens with raiders, except for some of the raiders have specific starting locations. Like if it's a close combat, it will automatically start in this close combat range. There's also long range raiders, and they will start out, and then you have mutants, which kind of can start everywhere, right? If you had an LI for the location area, you would get to now draw a location item, and then immediately get to use that. So look for that LI location, and we move, as we clear areas, we're moving to the right. So if we clear this first area, we would move to the next one. That would be the LI. We'd get to draw a location item, use it, and then we'd move to the next one. Here we'd have 4 zombies, radiation zombies. We'd be dealing with 4 zombies, place them again, and then the next one would be our rations. So basically we found some rations, which means you roll a d6, and you can take those 6 points and spread them out heal-wise to your soldiers. So you can give one guy all 6, or you can give 2 and 2 and 2. It's however you want to spread out those points. So whatever you roll, you can spread it out how you like. That's phase 1, right? So next we'll go on to phase 2. Okay, so now we are in phase 2. This is zombie and raider attack, right? So phase 1, we've placed them. Phase 2, this is where we're dealing with actual combat. Zombies and raiders always attack first. So we'll have, first we'll deal with close combat, then we'll deal with medium range, and then we deal with the far range. Now, one thing to know about zombies, if you have zombies, they only attack when they're in the close combat range. Anything else has to move forward during the movement phase for zombies to get up to close combat. Anything that's in medium and long range, you won't take any damage from. You got to wait till they move into close combat. So really, this is the only guy I'm dealing with right now. These two, sorry. They are in close combat. But one of the bad things about it is they have radiation, which means that's a radiation and that's a radiation. So we're going to take a radiation jump, right? We don't do 2 because basically you look at it as this way. You're getting exposed to radiation, right? All of us. And this is a radiation level for the group. So if there were 4 guys up here, it wouldn't matter. It's still a radiation, but you're getting that radiation this turn. So every turn that these zombies, radiation zombies, are sitting at close combat, you're getting radiation. So you've got to get rid of them as fast as you can. Okay? So just remember that. You start with close combat, make sure you move your radiation, but don't give a radiation movement based on how many there are. It's just if there's 1 or more, you get that 1 radiation. So combat is like this. You have values and symbols on your zombie cards. Same with raider cards. Now, the left top is how much damage they deal to your soldiers. The top right is how much damage it takes to kill them. And if you have a radiation symbol, again, you're going to be affected by radiation. So this one has 2 slashes, which means it can do 2 damage spread out to your soldiers, right? 1 or 2. You're going to roll to see who gets those 2. Not spread out, but it will be based on 1 of the 2. And then you will need to do this damage during your actions to destroy this. And you could pick either one you want. They're both going to attack, right? So you unfortunately don't get to try and build any kind of barricades first. They're on you and they are attacking. So you already know what they're going to do. This guy does 1 damage, and it's to these 2 guys. Whoever that close combat individual, that target is facing, those 2 are the damage that are going to be taken. They're going to take the damage. This guy, these 2 guys are going to take the damage from him. So whoever the soldiers are facing, those are the 2 that are going to get the damage. So we'll do this guy first. 1 point of damage. So we just take you can do a D6, D12, do whatever you want. Just split it in half. Just pick. D4, you can do 1 and 2 to the left, 3 and 4 to the right, or you can do D6. It's up to you. Just make sure you split it up. So a 1 be to the left, so he's going to get 1 point of damage. Then we do that for this guy. It's going to be 2 damage. Same thing. 1 and 2 for the top, 3 and 4 for the bottom. So 1 and 2. This guy's going to take 2 damage. And that's damage so far. Again, long range, can't do any damage. That's the phase 2 zombie and raiders attacks. Now, when we have some raiders up there, I'll go over raider attacks because it's a little different. But just remember, zombies only attack when they're in this first close combat range. Everything else has to move forward. And there are 2 types of movement, which I will cover during the movement phase. But phase 2 is zombie and raider attacks. Let's go ahead and we'll move on to phase 3, which is soldier actions. Okay, so now we've completed phase 2, we're into phase 3. Now this is soldier actions. Okay, this is before the attack, soldier attack. So when you start your soldier actions, you're basically going to roll your action dice. This right here is the meat of the game. These are your action dice. Okay, you have 10 action dice. 4 of these are specific to each of the soldiers, and then you have these 6 dice, which are the white ones, kind of ranged with different things. But these are your action dice. These are what really do everything that, this allows the soldiers to create all their actions. Now the first turn, you're going to be able to use all 10 dice. Later turns, you're only going to be able to roll what's based in this dice return pool, because you might have locked dice, like zombie encounters or bite might be locked over here, so you'll only have what's available, what's left. But on the first turn, we've got all 10. So we'll take our 10 dice, roll them. We go ahead and place them in our action dice area. Okay. So for phase 3, soldier actions, there's 3 things you're going to be concerned with in these first soldier actions. So we're going to deal with, did we get any random zombie encounters, or did we get any zombie bites? And that's you pulling out any of these dice that have the zombie face, or these with the hand, and place them here. These are locked dice, so if they get placed here, you can't move them from turn to turn. They only go once they fill up, the effect happens, and then they go to the dice return pool. So this dice here is locked. Now there's other actions that could remove these dice and allow you to use them for the next round, but I'll explain those when we get down to the trained actions. So in this phase 3, we're going to be dealing with soldier actions, and they are 3 things you're going to deal with. Did you get any random zombie encounters? Right? Any of these dice rolls? Did you get any bite wounds? And that will be the hand. Or do you want to build any barricades? Now, barricades are specifically used to block close combat attacks. It puts that barrier in front of them, and nothing can attack you, but you also can't attack them because you've got this barrier in front of you. So it gives you some time to breathe, gives you some time to heal, and then you can also use grenades to do some damage to them. But the nice thing about it is it'll block them from you taking any damage. Okay? So now in this phase, we're like, okay, do we have any dice that we want to use to build any barricades? And we have these 5 barricades that we choose from. And basically, to build a barricade, you just take your action dice, place them on here, and build. So like if I have a medical bag or a knife or ammo, I can build these. Like these 2, right? So I can take these 2, put them right on top of here, and build this barricade. And the way the barricade works is you build the barricade. This barricade will hold off 1 attacker, but is removed when a second attacker enters and continues attacking next round. So we're going to stick this right here. And that will keep him from attacking me next round. And then these go in here. Then we looked, is there anything else I want to do? No, I don't want to have any other barricades. So, because I want to do some action, so we just draw another one. And we say, okay, let's place our dice. But now we've done our barricade building, we've done our random encounter and our bite wound rolls. That deals with phase 3 soldier actions. Let's move on to placing the rest of these dice for soldier attacks. Okay, so we'll go on to the next phase. Phase 4 will be the next phase. Okay. So we finished up phase 3. We are now into phase 4. Phase 4 is soldier attacks. So again, definite meat of the game. This is when your guys are doing the actions and doing their combat and trying to destroy these zombies, these targets. So to do soldier actions for attacks, we take the remainder of our dice and we look at the weapons that we have. Now, soldier attacks deal with either your main gun which is a gun that would be specific to your color, such as this red soldier. He has an MP5. If you find you have the red with the MP5 placed on him, and that means I can make an attack with that gun and I don't need ammo. If I have a gun like this, that's a pistol, I need the black dice to have the pistol for it to be one without using ammo. If I still have a pistol, it's still a weapon I can use, but it just goes in here, just like this white pistol. Okay? So if the color, like black is pistol, green is shotgun, red for MP5, and blue for sniper, if you have that die roll placed on it, you won't need any action. If you have a colored die that just has the different weapon, you can still place it on the other soldier, but it goes on the white space because it will need ammo. Okay? And you're going to need ammo to cause the damage. Now, let's see here. If you had 3 weapons, you wouldn't need ammo with you. You'd still be able to do 1 point of damage with those 3. So we have a grenade. And the grenade we can be placed on 2 or 1, either one of these soldiers. So we'll go ahead and place it here, right? And I'll explain how that works with throwing. We don't have any head stabs, so we have these head stab or head close combat shots, which are basically single wounds. So if you had a knife, you could put the knife on any of the 4, but it's a close combat range weapon, so you'd only be able to attack these 2 close combat. Same with these headshot targets. They are close combat, single point, don't need any ammo, but that's all they can attack is 1 point to your close combat. All right? If you had these targets that had a number on it, those are headshots. Those are, again, shots that the soldier can make up to their range. So like if I had a target with a 3, I can go up to range, long range, and do 1 point of damage. I wouldn't need any ammo. But you need that specific target with a number on it. And for an example, so here's one with a 4. Yeah, I could place that on the soldier with a 4, and we'd be good. So, and then we have blasts, and those are your grenades. Okay? And those, again, there's only 2 soldiers. These scanners and medical bags, those are in the trained, that's in the next phase. So I'll cover those in the next one. So let's go ahead and do our damage with what we have set up. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any ammo, so I'm not going to be able to shoot with this guy, but I do have a grenade that I can use, and I do have this guy for a single shot. So we'll go ahead and use him first. I can get 1 point of damage up to medium range. So I think we will, let's see, I can get rid of him. So we'll get rid of him first, right? That's 1 point of damage. Now, remember, the number on the upper right, that's how much damage I need to destroy this zombie. The left is how much damage it does to the soldiers. This is what I need. So I need 1 point of damage to destroy this. That doesn't get rid of that barricade. That barricade's going to stay there until it gets destroyed. So anything moving there, not going to matter until it gets more than 1 to destroy this. So that's kind of nice that it'll be there. Now we have our grenade. Now the way the grenade works is you're going to throw it up to the range of the soldier who can throw it. Now these both have medium range, right? So I'm not going to be able to throw it up here to this long range, but I can throw it in here and it can still do damage to this guy, and I'll explain how it works. So I have either close combat or medium range that I can throw this grenade. If I throw it into this close combat, any area that it lands in here, this close combat range, it destroys everything. If there were 3 zombies in there, it would destroy all 3. But I'm going to take damage from it. Each of these 2 front soldiers are going to take 2 points of damage each because it's such a close combat blast. It's too close a range. These 2 guys here in medium range, they're also going to take a point of damage. So everything's disintegrated in here, 1 point of damage to whatever's in these medium range, and then these guys would both take 2 damage. If I throw it in medium range, right? If I throw this grenade, let's say I throw it right there. everything in this medium range would be completely destroyed. This would take 1 point of damage, and this close combo would take 1 damage. But you're still going to get some residual, so these guys will actually take 1 point of damage. Okay? The front, these two facing over here. But nothing, and then, 1 point of damage for the close combat. So I have this long, or this close combat and medium range. So now I have to decide, who do I want to go for? If I throw it here, 1 point of damage isn't going to kill that guy. If I throw it in it, I'm going to take some major damage. I think it's better if I throw it to here, right? There's nothing here. These guys will take a point of damage, which is okay. 1 and 1. All right? These I can't do anything with. But nothing in the long range or the medium range is going to get destroyed, but this guy, this 1 point of damage, it's enough to destroy this radiation zombie. So it had a nice little overlay effect by using this grenade. So now I'm out of my options. I don't have any more attack actions, right? So those 5 things are your main concern when you're dealing with phase 4, soldier attacks. You have your main gun, which are the colored dice. You have your secondary gun, which could be a colored dice, but of the wrong soldier, or the white dice weapons. Then you have head stabs, or these close combat, which is either the knife or the target. And those, again, are only affecting close combat targets. And it's just 1 point of damage for either one of those. Then you have headshot, which are the targets that have a specific number which go with that soldier. So if you target with a 1, it's going to go here. And that means this soldier can do 1 point of damage up to its max range, which in this case would be medium. If you had a target with a 3, then he can do 1 point of damage up to long range. Okay? And that is based on its arc. So, 1 point of damage, and that's headshot. Then last is your blast. Those are the grenades. And these two guys can throw the grenades. So, soldier attacks. So on the next video section, we're going to go over soldier trained actions. Okay? And that will be phase 5. Okay, so let's go into phase 5 of the turn. This is soldier trained actions. Now that's dealing with these dice. Okay, there are 3 things that soldiers can do based on their training. One is medical bag. Now this is specific to this soldier, and medical bag is dealing with bite wounds. Okay, it can either be used to help remove one of these dice or to heal a bite wound. Then you have scanner dice. Now scanner dice are used to remove random zombie encounters. That's the nice thing about it. If you got 2 of these, you can get rid of dice. Each one of these can get rid of a random zombie dice encounter. And then we have the cross, which is, if we show it, if I can find one that has it. Here we go. This is the heal. And this is basically, if you can put this on any of the 4 soldiers, and it will heal 1 health to any soldier. So here we have our 2 scanners and our medical bag. So I think what we'll do is, we don't have any random zombie dice sitting up here for our scanner. So there's nothing we can do with those. And we could, if we wanted to, place them on our barricade cards, but they'll be here and they'll carry over for the next turn. But remember, anything on the barricade cards is not locked. So you could leave it on here, get into the next turn and go, you know what, I don't want to lock that up. I'm going to take it back off and put it in the dice pool. So it will be 2 turns you'd have to wait through to use it, or when you go to the round of rolling it. But at least it's not locked like these 2 dice. And I think we will hold off on placing those, and we'll just put them in here. And the medical bag, we will have him get rid of this bite wound. All right. So we've got our phase 5, which is the soldier trained actions. We've dealt with the medical bag, getting rid of one of the bites, or we could heal a bite if we wanted to. We have the scanner, which he was helping look for random zombie encounters, which we didn't have any, so didn't have to use that, and I didn't want to use them on my barricades. And we don't have any heal dice, so there's no healing going on right now. So that's everything for the soldier trained action. That's phase 5. So let's go into phase 6, will be zombies and raider movement. Okay, so we are in phase 6, which is zombie and raider movement. So we're only dealing with zombies. So right now, we will only have one zombie that we'll deal with movement. Now, here's how movement works with zombies. If you have zombies that are in a range of either long or medium, they're going to move forward. And it will be based on a roll. So let's say I'm in this long range. I'm either going to move here or here. So you just roll a d12, right? 1 through 6 to the left, 7 through 12 to the right. Or you can use a d6 or d4. Just half the dice value, one's left, one's right. So it always moves towards close combat. Okay, so the farther they are, they will move 1 or they will move 2. Now, the only zombies that move 2 spaces are fast zombies. And those will show on the card. They're fast-moving zombies. They will look like they're running, and those ones have a 2 movement. So if they were in long range, they could immediately go to close combat range. If they're in medium range, they will go to close combat range. Everything else moves 1 space. They will only move up 1 range. And all zombies are always trying to move closer to your soldiers. Okay? So they will move forward, and then they will either move left or right. And then once they get to close combat, they'll stay there unless they're already in close combat. Now, if they're in close combat, they may move. They will move right or left. Right? They will either stay or they'll move right or left. So what you do is you take 2d12. Okay? So you take 2 dice. And the way it works is if you roll 1 through 6 on the first dice, he'll move. 7 through 12, he doesn't move. Okay? So he doesn't move. If I had rolled a 6, you roll a second dice, and you see, does he move left or does he move right? So in this case, let's say I rolled a 5 and an 8. He does move, and 8 means 1 through 6 is to the right, and 7 through 12 is to the left. So he would move, and then he would move here. And then you wouldn't have to worry about it because he's stuck in a barricade. So you've got a chance where you could either destroy him with a grenade, or try and heal up, or do some actions that are trained actions, but you can't really attack him while he's stuck behind that barricade. So again, he may move. 1 through 6 means he moves. 7 through 12 means he doesn't move. And then if he does move, 1 through 6 right, 7 through 12 left. Or however you want to do it, but usually 1 through 6 right, 7 through 12 left. Okay? That way you have these zombies that act, random. They don't just sit and wait for you to keep attacking it. There is this possibility that they may keep attacking you, which they may stay at a barricade, or they may move away from a barricade, but they will always move towards you, and then once they get to close combat, they may move around you. So just be aware of that. Okay? So in our case, we rolled, he didn't move. So we always try and we do zombies first, right? Because they're a little easier. They're going to move toward you or you move around. And then raiders are a little different because raiders, they won't move. If they're close combat, they will only stay within the close combat. If they're long range, they will only stay within the long range, but they may move in a different spot of the long range. If it's a mutant raider, he may move up, down, and into a different position. So that's how they move a little different. So, and those are the same thing, D12 dice. So we've gone through, we've done phase 6, which is zombie and or raider movement. And those are just dealing with those 2 entities. When we have raiders up there, I'll show you how those move. And let's go into the next phase, which will be the cleanup phase. That's phase 7. Okay, so now we're in our last phase of the turn. This is the cleanup phase. This is where we clean up the dice, any things that you don't want to have locked, you could move. You have your location cube that you may move if you've cleared everything out. So you look and see, did I destroy all the zombies? Did I destroy all the raiders? If I did, I've cleared everything for that objective, and I will be going over here and moving my map cube. And then are there any unlocked dice? I don't have any unlocked dice here or locked dice. So those will stay. I have everything in my return dice pool. I don't have anything in my barricades. So I'm okay there. No other movements going on here. Now I could, if I wanted to, move these guys around. I can shift. At this cleanup phase, I have the ability now to move my soldiers around, rearrange them. If you got a guy that's dealing with this close combat, you can get him to move back, right? And they won't be taking any damage. So it's just this way of, this cleanup phase is the only time that you can rearrange your soldiers to get ready for the next turn. So this cleanup is just like I said, it's making sure you've got your cubes, any things that need to be updated, clean up your cards. You might have to reshuffle some of these if you've run out of these cards, you know, zombies or raiders. Take the dice off or leave them. It's all completely up to you. So this is that phase, cleanup phase. Now we don't have anything we have to do. We don't have any action dice that are waiting or that we haven't used. If you have any action dice on here that you haven't used, they have to be removed. Nothing can stay on the soldiers from turn to turn. Everything gets reset. So if you don't use it, it's going to get pushed into the dice return pool, right? Either from the action to the dice return or from the soldier to the dice return. If you've done damage and it isn't enough, you'll have these red cubes that will carry over, showing that it's not dead yet, but it has taken damage. Barricades don't get cleaned up. They stay where they're at until they are destroyed. So as you build them, they will stay in that close combat. And again, you can have more than one barricade. I could put another one on here, so if this one gets destroyed, the next one is still available, and it doesn't go, hey, there's two guys here, boom, boom, they're both destroyed. It's like saying, okay, I had two barricades here, now it enforces them into one larger barricade, and it would now be, if I had two of the one attackers, I would need 3 guys to destroy this. If I had a 1 attacker and a 2 attacker, I would need 4 zombies to destroy those barricades. So you look at them as they get put together and they get combined into a larger and larger barricade. You're just looking at it as you're just throwing stuff, tables and chairs. You're putting whatever you can into this barricade, doors, just whatever, and you're building it up. So right now, this barricade, I would need 2 to destroy this. If I said, hey, I got this one here and I put this one on here, right? 1 attacker. So now I need 3 to destroy this barricade. It's a single barricade, okay? It doesn't go through one. I have to get through all of them at the same time, all right? So it's like it's a continuously reinforcing and making it a larger barricade. So I'm going to leave my guys where they're at. They're not too bad damage-wise. We'll go into, we finished up our cleanup phase, and we will now start again a new turn on phase 1, which is the movement again, and that's movement would be based with this location. And that's only once things are cleared. So we finished up cleanup. Let's go ahead and we'll start a new turn.